Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Today we're going to talk about mind control demons, working with spirits whose strength is manipulating the thoughts and actions of others, and what your favorite YouTube sorcerer didn't tell you about the ins and outs of this process. So here's the thing. A lot of people that come into this that have no real knowledge or experience with spirits usually come with pre-equipped ideas. One of them being, if you work with a demon, it's going to be attached to you for the rest of your life. Likewise, if you work with an angel, it's going to be attached to you for the rest of your life. Now, coming from a religious perspective or a Christian perspective, that sounds pretty scary, right? You don't want to have a demon attached to you for the rest of your life. But when it comes to this occult and spiritual practice, everything is about mindset. Everything is about your understanding. And if you've been watching my videos, and if you've been doing your study properly, you should have come to the understanding that these spirits are not an external force. As a matter of fact, these spirits are a part of you, and they always have been, whether you activate them or not. And by activate, I mean whether you establish a working link, a connection between utilizing their abilities or not. On some people, they work without their knowledge. Others, like myself, do the study and the practice to tame that energy within them. So when you're reading about the Goetia in the old books by Mathers and Crowley, it talks about subjugating them and commanding them and demanding them and things like that. You're not really talking mean and forcefully to an external spirit. It's all symbolic. Everything in the occult and in the spiritual world is symbolic. So when we talk about things like that, what's really going on is that you are subjugating and sublimating different aspects of your spiritual ability. Okay, now a lot of people want to argue, well, I believe that these demons are an external part of me and I actually contact them and da-da-da-da. And then there's others who believe, oh, they're all part of the subconscious mind. We have to have a little bit of mental flexibility here. We approach this logical five-sense world with a logical thought process. If this, then that. The spirit realm does not work that way. It's a realm of multiple possibilities, and depending on what you agree with is what is. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. So when we talk about these spirits, yes, they are an individualized intelligence, and yes, they are a part of you. But when we work with them, we access that gray area in between. Okay, it is an individualized intelligence that exists without your permission. However, its integral energy and spirit is closely and directly linked with yours. Okay, this is why you're even able to access them. They're a part of you. The same way you have an individualized hand, right? It's an extension of your body. It's its own thing, but it's a part of you. When you really are doing the work, certain pieces of information begin to come to you, right? Certain pieces of understanding come to you and help you to figure out what you're doing so that you don't have to use a book or a manual. You can figure out how to start doing it yourself because you're seeing the process of what's going on here. Ceremonial magic talks about two types of magic. It talks about low magic and it talks about high magic. Okay, low magic is really dealing with everything that's popular, as far as Goetia and doing spells and different things, the voodoo and all the things that affect your third dimension reality, all the things that affect your five senses, all the things that affect your body and your ego, right? All these things are low magic. These are things that satisfy what is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? The things dealing with your lower three chakras. You got to have, a roof over your head, food in your belly, clothes on your back, and a partner to share an experience with, love, sex, that kind of thing. Most people get into magic because they want to establish consistency with those lower things. That's why it's called low magic, because it deals with the animal nature, right? The heart chakra is the dividing line that separates the low from the high. My videos are aimed at beginners, people who are just getting started on this path, because I've found a lot of, I wouldn't call them shortcuts because we're not skipping anything other than the unnecessary stuff, but I guess you'll have to call them shortcuts. We cut to the chase and we're getting directly to this heart chakra work so you can start working with this high magic. Okay, but in order to cross this barrier, you've got to do inner work. You've got to do what's called shadow work. You've got to fix a lot of your insecurities and a lot of your psychological issues that were given to you when you're born. You've got to start fixing these so that you're not focusing all of your spiritual power on solving Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Shelter, food, sex. Magic gets deeper than that because those things are just dealing with the illusion. You're playing with the illusion, but you're still in the illusion. When you cross the heart chakra, you begin to deal with the higher self. You begin to deal with high magic. And high magic is really tapping into what we know as quantum physics and quantum mechanics and things of that nature. High magic is dealing with your higher self and integrating it with this thing that you call a body, with this thing you call ego. And when you're tapping into high magic, you're affecting reality at large. Now, in order to be able to access that kind of power, you have to deal with self. You have to deal with that heart chakra. So all these YouTube videos, sorcerers and magicians that you're watching, you can kind of tell what level they're at by the topics they focus on. If it's strictly about the lower chakras and satisfying the body and the ego and the animal, you're still dealing with low magic. And while there can be transformation there, the point is not to stay there. The point is not to worship goetic spirits. It's not to stay here and just summon demons all day. You know, it's been done to death for hundreds of years, thousands of years. The point is to realize that you are greater than this animal self. That there is a part of you that's much deeper than the ego and the five senses. It's deeper than your race. It's deeper than your experience and your history and your memories. Right? This is that true inner self. The magic and the spirits and the evocation and all that stuff is just you flexing your muscles, right? You learning how to walk. They're baby steps that are supposed to get you to a higher place. Now here's the thing. When you start dealing with other people, right? When you're working with these spirits that have to do with mind control and influence and things like that. For example, Dantalion from the Goetia or Shazu from the Necronomicon. You know, it doesn't matter what spirit you use. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're going with Michael W. Ford's books, E.A. Coetting's books, if you're going with the old school Goetia, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're actually doing it. That you're actually feeling the process of working with the spirit and understanding the two-way communication that's going on. Understanding that you're talking and communicating with something that isn't physically here. You're teaching your subconscious mind that there are realities that exist beyond what you're used to, right? And this should start a process of your mind expanding and being able to accept different shades of reality. Okay, so once you do get your lower needs satisfied, the point isn't to accumulate more of that, it's to work higher. The problem is, people that get into magic get so excited and they want to jump to the really complex stuff, the stuff that can really have a profound effect on your life, like mind control spirits. But all these demons and angels are intelligent energy, right? They're intelligent energy packets. They're like spiritual memes, if you will. And if your internal self isn't squared away, if you're still wrapped in layers and layers of unresolved ego, that energy has the very likely potential to cause you a lot of complications. To be more specific, if you begin working with a mind control spirit, say you want to influence somebody to sleep with you, right, or go on a date with you, So you're connecting with Kiltan, or you're connecting with, I don't know, Citri, or Gremory, or whatever. Know that you're accessing an energy that deals with lust and sex and that type of thing. Not only can you send it out, but it can also be used on you, right? So if you're not squared away as far as your heart chakra is concerned, as far as forgiveness, as far as letting go of people that hurt you, and all those different types of things that I've been talking about in the past couple of videos, if you don't have all that settled, once you're done with this ritual or this energy, once you get what you want, or once you get wrapped up in trying to get what you want, it's going to change your personality, right? When you unlock these different spirits, it's almost like you're adding a jewel to your crown. It's almost like you're adding a stone to your infinity gauntlet. It doesn't just go away. You've opened up something, and it's a part of you. So if you don't follow the steps of actually working on self, that part of you that you've opened up, you haven't fully explored it, and you haven't understood how to control it within yourself, so it's going to start to control you. And that's where you get a lot of these horror stories of people that have these bad things happen when they work with spirits. It's not that the spirits are bad, it's because they're not ready. It's because they haven't done the inner work to really figure out who they are and what they want out of life. When you don't know these basic things, if you don't know how to meditate and you're trying to summon demons and angels, it's a slippery slope, right? Because you're accessing power that you don't understand how to use or how it works. It's like giving a loaded gun to a child who's only seen video games, right? He wants to go out and pull the trigger. Something will quickly go wrong. Now, this isn't to scare you away from working with spirits. This is to really make this thing practical for you. Everything in this world takes baby steps. You got to start here and get there. That's not to say you can't work with spirits. It's just understand that when you work with an energy, you take a piece of that within. I mean, it's already within, but you open that door, so now you've got that connection. It's beginning to become established. So when people ask me where to start, I always say meditation. Because you want to sit down and you want to realize that these thoughts that are going around in your head are not necessarily you. There's multiple faces of the mind. And if you don't understand how this works, these mind control spirits that you begin to access are now working on you. Now you're becoming a puppet of an energy, right? And it's out of control here. Before summoning Kiltan or Citri to get that person that you want to sleep with, why don't you first do the work to ask yourself why you want to sleep with this person, right? Is there some kind of deep-rooted psychological thing that you need to work out? I think that would be the greater work, because now you're solving an issue. If this issue isn't solved, you're going to keep summoning sex demons, and you're going to end up getting yourself into some type of trouble with the opposite sex or same sex or whatever you're into. I don't care. What I do care about is the world needs, in my humble opinion, more people who understand what they're doing and not just doing things because it's cool. So you can go to YouTube, you can find any YouTuber that's going to tell you how to summon demons. It really isn't hard. You just got to use your imagination, your creativity. These books here all have different ways to get there. There's not one way. If you were a kid and you made imaginary friends and you played with toys, you already know how to do it. But the thing is, this is something that's supposed to be explored. You gotta move past the basic stuff. If you wanna know what books I'm holding, I got the same ones I've mentioned in previous videos. The Necronomicon, it's a grimoire that has 50 spirits in it. You got Summoning Spirits by Constantinos. This helps to really understand the different types of spirits there are and how to summon them or even create them. We've got Lucifer and the Hidden Demons. It's got a whole host of entities that you've probably never heard of that can do all types of things. Demonaltree Goetia by S. Connolly. It's a great grimoire for starting out with the Goetia. It bases a lot on the old school style, which I don't really like, but it works. And you've also got, of course, my favorite, Demons of Magic. This really opened up a lot of doors as far as how to work with the Goetic spirits. definitely check this out if you're serious. And then of course we've got 72 Angels of Magic, also by the Gallery of Magic. And this has a lot of great rituals, a lot of great access to the angels using the angel Raziel. Just follow what the book says. Don't get too complicated. You know, you don't have to draw the sigils. Nice. Power to improve clarity of thought. Of course, it's a mind control entity. But yeah, the point is to learn how the process works and then move past it so that you don't have to rely on someone else's books. There's a struggle of consciousness going on between people who consume and people who create. We're all consumers, but the filtration system here is to find out who the real creators are so that we can step on our throne and begin creating this world. Many of us have relinquished control to those who don't have our best interests at heart. So really, a lot of this information is getting out there to the public because there's a lot of you who are supposed to be doing this type of work but don't have really a great way to figure out how. But my message for you today through this video is don't get stuck on just trying to feed the ego and the lower three chakras of trying to find money, sex, fame, and all those ego things. Move past that. Shadow work is more important than learning how to work with demons. Shadow work, heart chakra work, that spans whatever religion or spiritual thing you practice. Work on self. Because this is all about consciousness. This is all about how you interpret the world. Consciousness is an energy. And depending on how finely tuned your consciousness is, your reality is going to reflect what you're thinking about, what you're doing in here. So before you summon a mind control spirit to control somebody else, learn how to control yourself. Hell, use the mind control spirit to gain control over yourself. The more work that you do on yourself, the more power and control you gain over yourself, the more power and control you gain over your reality. Facts. Don't take my word for it. Start working on this yourself and you will begin to see results. So, that's my message. It's not hard to summon demons. You can summon whatever one you want, but the best thing to do is to figure out why you want those things. Because there's a question inside of your psychology, your ego, that's there to be solved. And once you master that psychology and that ego, you can start working with the higher self, with the higher magic that I spoke about. So yeah, this is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you guys. Peace.